Keep your wellness routine going strong all summer. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition wherever you are, with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and more. Simplify your daily ritual. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Cruising along here. May the 26th be with you. That's John Jastremski. I'm Dustin Swedelson. Appreciate you making us part of your day on Follow the Money, wherever you may be tuning in. Sirius XM Channel 158, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, radio affiliates across the United States of God Bless America. Game 5, Western Conference Finals tonight. You got the Oklahoma City Thunder right now laying 4.5. Total 217.5. I am seeing a flash on my screen, though. Hasn't been a change yet. Just went red. Everything is currently the same. Wondering if this thing's going to be moved at all before we get to tip-off, because John and I both laid the 4.5 with Oklahoma City. It was sitting at 5.5 on the opener. I have to imagine the Spurs have become such a trendy team, especially when you think about all the discussions around this series, JJ, where it feels like people believe that they've unlocked something defensively against the Thunder. To me, that screams more going on the road for the Thunder offense, having to deal with some of the injuries they're dealing with, coming back home. And as you touched on earlier, some of these role guys should be able to step up. I think the Thunder are the side that you have to look at tonight.
Listen, it will be one of my best bets on this particular Tuesday. I think there's going to be overreaction to what happened in Game 4. And don't get me wrong, San Antonio put on a defensive clinic. San Antonio was the more desperate team. Wembanyama was the best player on the floor. This Game 5, I'm going to get all narrative based on you. I know some people listening to me like, oh, JJ, you got to go all storyteller on us. You got to go all New York on us. These are monstrous games for SGA. I know he's the back-to-back reigning MVP. I know he's won an NBA championship. I know he's done some crazy things historically. But you lose this series, any grip you have on being proclaimed the best player in the world goes bye-bye. They're clearly compromised as a team from what they were because of not having Jalen Williams. There's still enough there. I need a signature SGA game. I thought you saw some of that in Game 3. I think you're going to see that here in Game 5. More help from the bench, 30-plus from SGA, better defense from Oklahoma City. I think that'll be the difference. The question is, did I make a mistake? Did you make a mistake, Dusty? Is this line going to get down to 4 when we get closer to tip-off?
I mean, I do. I still think people may want to back San Antonio. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's correct. And I don't think people are really anticipating the potential whistle the Thunder are going to get at home when so much of their game plan is derived from SGA getting to the charity stripe, trying to get those free throws. I'm looking right now. You mentioned the prop at 30.5 points. You can go to 40-plus points, meaning 39.5 to the over, plus 436 on SGA. He doesn't have A.J. Mitchell. He's probably not going to have Jalen Williams. We talked to Barry Tremmel, who's covered the team forever, earlier in the show. He didn't really expect that to be a spot where Jalen Williams is going to return to the lineup. If he doesn't have secondary scoring, I just feel like he's going to have to take on so much more. I think he could approach 40. 40 might be a little too lofty, but 35 plus, you can get it at plus 175. Probably worth just going over the 29.5. But before the break, I teased referee situation. And I want to give credit on this one because saw this out there on social at Referee Insider. Tony Brothers is officiating tonight. That has usually been good for San Antonio. 11-5 against the spread as underdogs with Brothers as the ref. And then on the road, 8-2 covering. I'd also mention all of my trends that I've looked up before the show. And trends don't pay the rent, but they do help you sometimes. I'm going against every trend here, JJ. Oklahoma City 0-9 against the spread since May 2025 with less than 2 days rest after scoring less than 105 points. Spurs 15-0 straight up and against the spread since January 28th versus a team that they scored no more than 110 points versus last meeting. Both of those trends from Killer Sports. Everything trend-wise says you got to back San Antonio. I don't care. I saw a shot of Oklahoma City after the loss in Game 4. That team looks so unbothered by the situation. I don't think they're feeling any pressure. I think they know when they need it. They still have their best stuff available. That begins and ends with SGA. I think they take momentum back at home tonight. They win this one. They cover the 4.5.
Trends don't pay the rent. Can we get that printed on
That
t-shirts?
should be a t-shirt. That should be a t-shirt.
I love that.
That's not mine. I stole
that.
I stole that. Everything I do, I've stolen from someone. I just don't give credit.
I was going to say, I was going to give you all the credit. I was waiting for you to put a copyright on that bad boy. 2 player props to keep an eye on. One, we talked about Vassell, 3+ made threes. The guy has been shooting lights out, and San Antonio has relied upon him like crazy in this postseason. We both like Caruso. We think this is going to be a big Caruso game, and he has stepped up in these big games. Here's another one, and I haven't bet this, but I'm looking into the player prop market. This series has really become a Hartenstein series.
I have that one.
Because they need him, right? Like they need him. And points, rebounds. Can I get you on board with Isaiah Hartenstein?
So I threw this up. This is one of my 2 official plays as of right now in the game, laying the 4.5. Threw it up last night at vsin.com/picks over 9.5 rebounds and assists for Isaiah Hartenstein. One, he is getting a very favorable whistle with the physicality against Wembanyama. Let's be fair about that. And I think playing at home, that's going to continue for him. They need him if they're going to slow down Wemby in any way. I'm actually surprised that he only played 18 minutes last game. He had 7 boards, 3 assists. He's a very good passer out of that spot at the 5. You look at what he's done in this series outside of Game 1. Right now, the numbers moved to 10.5 on the RA. I still kind of like it. He's gone over that in 2 of the last 3 of this series. I kind of throw Game 1 out as a mulligan where things just didn't go right for them in double overtime. He didn't fit the game flow. And I think without that secondary scoring for Oklahoma City, they potentially may need to slow down the pace a little bit here. Because of that, that means the game flow favors Hartenstein being on the floor a little bit more. So I'm going over the 9.5, 10.5 on the rebounds and assists.
I like the sound of that. Now, here's what we got to figure out between now and game time. How do we want to play Alex Caruso? Because you like him to have a big game. I like him to have a big game. Do we want to get on board with his over for points? So Caruso, 15+ points at plus 350. That's juicy. If you want to get him at 10+ points, it's even money. Or do we want to get involved with the made threes market with Caruso? 2+ made threes at minus 120. 3+ made threes at plus 240. Anything you like there?
Yeah, so initially I want to say just the points because I sometimes hedge these things and play it safe with the PRA, but our buddy Mike Somich, one of the hosts here on the network, he went back and looked a while ago. Sometimes when you try to put them all together, you don't always get the best combined number. And traditionally, a lot of these guys, if they're going to go over that PRA, it's going to be mostly on the point side of things. And I think for Caruso, just based on the situation that Oklahoma City finds themselves in, the rebounding, the facilitating, that's icing on the cake. The reality is they need someone to step up and help SGA, especially in the minutes where he's not on the floor, potentially to do a little bit more damage. Part of me wants to go PRA, but I think the points is the way to look at this one at Caruso. What are we at? 9.5 points? Go over on that?
9.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I would do that. I would go over on that. Let's lock that one in. I'm with you. Over 9.5. Ooh, I got an 8.5 out here at Caesars. So I love that. All right.
Got to shop around sometimes, Dusty boy. Got to shop around.
Love that. All right. So that's where we stand with the player props that we like in this matchup. On the Spurs side of things, like Dylan Harper, I mentioned, that's one that jumped out to me in this spot. I considered him, But ultimately, I don't think I'm going to get there with the road team here. We do have a baseball game about to get going, and I got to tell you, JJ, I've been staring at this one going back and forth since yesterday. Ultimately, I don't have an official play. Cade Cavalli and the Nationals, who, by the way, congratulations. You cashed that over in like the 5th or 6th inning yesterday.
You know what? I wish I had more on it. It was one of these classic in the moment. I'm giving it out. I ended up betting it on. At least I made some money on it. That's the beautiful thing about doing a show with you is you are expanded upon your horizons where you have your card that you come into and then you're doing a show where there's like 10 zillion Memorial Day baseball games on. And it's like, ooh,
you got a vibe.
Cleveland, 8.5 sounds good. Let's bet an over. Let's go.
I didn't wind up here because I like to bet one game a day. Okay, like I like the action.
Well, me neither. No, I get that. We like the action.
I like to feel something either way. It's a problem. We talk to a therapist about it every week. But the Nats and the Guardians, Cade Cavalli, Joey Cantillo, low total of 7.5, which is crazy because the Nationals are the best over team in baseball. They allow a ton of runs. They score a ton of runs. Plus 109 on Washington on the road. Minus 103 with the Guards. Cavalli off 7 innings, 2 earned, 9 punch-outs against the Mets. He's a little bit worse on the road. Slightly less with the Ks. Cantillo, third most profitable pitcher in baseball. Plus 680 this season. 3.05 ERA for him. 51 punch-outs, 56 innings. But Washington offensively, third in average, fourth in OPS against lefties. I kind of wanted to take that plus price with Cavalli just because I think they can get to Cantillo. But, you know, sometimes there's these pitchers out there, JJ. No matter what you do, you back them, they let you down. You bet against them, they come through on the other side.
You can't figure them out. I get
Joey
that.
Cantillo is one of those guys for me. I'm never on the right side. It's like Kirk Ferentz in Iowa football. I'm never on the right side of them either.
I know the feeling. That said, I think Washington's the right side of the game.
I think so, too. I think
like they're
Washington.
the right side of the game. I love the way they're swinging the bats. I think you're seeing a little regression from the Guardians, who got off to such a hot start this season. I think they're closer to being like an 85, 86 win team. They're playing well north of a 90 win pace. So let's capitalize on the market moving here a little bit. The only problem with taking Washington now, folks, if you want to add this to the portfolio, you could have gotten a way juicier number. You could have gotten 120, 124, 123, etc. Not getting it now.
You know what? I just needed a friend to co-sign my bet. That's what I needed. So we came together on Caruso. I'm going to bet the Nationals now. Let's do it. Plus 109.
Well, you know what? I didn't do it. I didn't have it. Let's have that good family juju karma.
How about this? We only have 45 minutes or so left of the show. Let's go first 5 that hopefully we know where we stand on the bet before we get out of here today. We avoid the Nationals
first
bullpen.
First 5. Okay,
first
now we're getting frisky. Okay,
first 5 on the Nationals.
I'll trust my teammate. Fair enough.
We call it a bet for funsies around here. It's a little play for funsies on the Washington Nationals coming up here on Follow the Money. All right, we got more baseball to hit, including a play in the NL Central. Battle of the Cubs and the Pirates. I'll break down who I like next, right here on FTM.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
I've been looking into Prolon, and what really stood out to me is that it's designed to give you the benefits of fasting without actually having to stop eating completely. It's a plant-based 5-day program with everything pre-packaged for you. Soups, snacks, drinks, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state so it can activate things like cellular repair and renewal. It's actually backed by years of research and developed alongside one of the leading longevity institutes, which makes me feel really comfortable in trying it. Prolon is offering FieldSwell listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just go to prolonlife.com/FieldSwell. Again, that's PROLONLIFE.com/FieldSwell to get your discount and bonus gift today.
When maintaining your daily wellness rituals is important to you, the change in routine during the summer can feel daunting. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual, even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and much more. So you'll be fueled and ready for wherever life or your summer adventures take you. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. But you can try it for yourself because the variety pack includes all 6 delicious fan favorites: chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, coconut acai, and strawberry. So instead of worrying about sticking to your daily ritual, simplify it with Kachava. Go to Kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Yeah, buddy, back at it on Follow the Money. That's John Jastremski. I'm Dustin Swedelson. I did get confirmation of the great debate we were having on the program, as someone did tweet in, I believe it was Colin Murphy, quote, that is indeed the original MILF reference on American Pie. We asked the question earlier.
Wow,
and then
good job on that. Well done, Twitter.
I don't know what this says from Colin Murphy, though, about his education that he got in high school. She spoke at my high school graduation. You know what? Now, what's her name? Jennifer.
Oh, that's Coolidge. She was in White Lotus. She's a star.
I know. But at that point, I'm pretty sure that's what she was known for.
No, she was Stifler's mom. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But like Jennifer Coolidge now is a huge, huge deal. Like she was like everywhere. You watched that White Lotus show, right? It was tremendous.
I didn't watch the last season, but I did watch the first 2 with her. It was tremendous. I agree. I think it's a random high school graduation speaker to have Jennifer Coolidge as your speaker. I don't even know who mine was. I don't even know who mine was. I think it was just someone else, someone who like lived in town who owned a deli.
How about that? Wish Jennifer Coolidge was speaking at mine.
But she's the OG. She is the OG. You can tweet the show at VSiN Live, at John_Jastremski. Check us out over on X. All right, also on X earlier today, as part of my show prep, I'm always looking for things. And one of my favorite things over at VSiN.com is Steve Makinen. He is our numbers guru. He breaks it all down. He has awesome trends. I was already betting this game, but like I said, trends don't pay the rent. They make you feel a little bit better. I always reference Tommy Boy, JJ. Like, you remember the scene where the guy says there's no warranty on your box, on your brake pads? And he's like, why don't you put a warranty in the box? Like, it helps me sleep at night to know that it's covered if anything happens, even though it doesn't matter. If the car brakes don't work and crash and you die, unfortunately. That's what trends are. Trends are kind of like the warranty on the box in Tommy Boy. They make you feel a little bit better about your bet. So I was happy when I saw this trend via Steve Makinen over at VSiN.com. Teams on losing streaks of 7+ games are 40-104 in the next game as underdogs. That means in the Cubs and Pirates, you fade the Chicago Cubs, you back the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are now up to -137 favorites at home, +114 the other way with the Cubbies. The total in the game is 8. Braxton Ashcraft taking on Jordan Wicks. Wicks' first start in the majors this year, .60 ERA, last 3 starts in AAA, but a 4.4 ERA in 7 starts overall. Pittsburgh pretty good against lefties this year, 13th in average, 9th in runs scored, and Ashcraft has been a revelation, man. A sub-2 ERA his last 4 starts, and he's actually, he's not as good as at home as he is on the road, but at home in this spot, I'll take him. I'll trust his offense. I think he'll be more competitive than Wicks. I went -130 at -137. Everyone has a different threshold. You're approaching that point where you maybe don't bet the game, but I still like the Pirates here.
So I understand that logic. I don't know what's happening to the Cubbies. They got off to such a rocking start. They've been such a streaky team throughout this season. And look, this line got a little too rich for my liking. I think in the 120 range, 125 range, I would have been on the Pirates. The fact that the public is all over and it keeps climbing, I kind of feel like I missed the party. You know what I mean, Dusty? Like for me, this is I can't get on board with this one. This is one I'm just Xing from the card tonight. No thanks.
Ooh, we got a situation down in Cleveland or over in Cleveland. They're ruling this one out at second. I thought maybe the throw from Ramirez took Bazana off the bag. We had a runner on first and Mead with one out. I'm watching the replay now. I want to see. Nah, he's on the bag.
I'm watching
Runners
it right
out.
behind you.
Runners out.
You know what's beautiful about the Circa Sportsbook? I do not have the Guardian game with the Nationals fired up on my TV.
But you have it behind me?
I was lazy. I have like ESPN. I have the Yankees on. Well, Yankee pregame or Met pregame, whatever the hell it is. But because the screens in Circa are so beautiful and so fantastic, I am able to see exactly what you are referencing. Even though my 20/20 vision is starting to get worse over time, over
good.
like your right shoulder, It's like, oh, I can see what's going on here. This is great.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Hey, you don't want to pay for an MLB TV subscription? You can just watch the show and whatever game's highlighted in the background.
The problem is I'm not in Circa, so I can't put up like 10 screens here in the office. It's tough.
I'm telling the audience. So we got a game for you every day here, as long as it's on while the show's on. All right, we mentioned in about 15 minutes here, Rays and Orioles about to go at it. Total in the game's 8.5. Rays minus 112. Baltimore minus 107. They played extras yesterday. We're both kind of liking the over, but not enough to actually bet it here. But Tampa Bay used 5 relievers yesterday. Baltimore used 6. Rays are trying to stretch out Griffin Jax as a starter. He's thrown 5 innings, back-to-back appearances. Shane Baz on the other side has been horrible. I think about the over. You thought about the over. We ultimately did not bet it. Now, in about 20 minutes, the Angels and Tigers. This is another game where I kind of lean over. I don't love betting baseball overs, though, unless it's a team total. I prefer unders in baseball. Jack Kakanowitz and the Angels, plus 114 at the Tigers and Kiter Montero. Total in the game is 9. Did you consider doing anything here?
You know what's funny? I looked at this game when I was doing my prep for the day. And I said to myself, man, this game is disgusting.
It's
disgusting. I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? And I thought long and hard about the Angels. I'm not going to do it.
No,
I did tell you, Dusty, before.
I agree.
I told you before we did the show, when you bet baseball, and I know our audience knows this, we have a very smart, astute, VSiN audience. You got to be willing at times to bet some stinkers. You got to be willing with baseball to go and bet some bad teams, because if you're going to sit there and just try to play chalk day in and day out, you're going to get your clock cleaned.
100%.
That's it. You're going to get absolutely destroyed if you're laying juice and you're taking 150, 160, 170 prices on a consistent basis in baseball. It's not going to end well for you. So finding those not so trendy underdogs that are small underdogs, like the big dogs, there are many cases why the big dogs are the big dogs. That Angel spot tonight is exactly the sort of game I'm talking about, where if I had some more, you know what, I would have taken it tonight. But it's Angels that pass. That's the way I look at that game.
100%. Montero is a guy who I love to fade, and I think the numbers are a little deceptive on him. To put some context on it, 3.63 ERA over his last 4 starts. That's pretty respectable. It's against Cleveland, the Mets, Kansas City, and Texas. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know Texas and the Mets are definitely 2 of the worst offenses in baseball in terms of runs per game this year. So I can't take too much out of that. The Tigers are a team that I want no part of backing. Kakanowitz may stink, but he might be enough to be competitive on the road there in that game. Also coming up in about 23 minutes, the Braves and Red Sox. You like Boston. I like the under 8 in that game. We mentioned earlier in the show the Marlins and the Blue Jays. You know, always go back, listen to the show wherever you get your podcast. And I'm going to run this one by you that I added a little bit later in the day. I back Cincinnati minus 120 on the road in Queens.
Wow. Fading your Mets. Fading your Mets. Can't blame you.
David Peterson starting.
Can't blame you.
David Peterson starting, who, good God, I've talked my way in circles around that dude the last couple of years. But to me, it just feels like a huge edge is on one side. Chase Burns on the bump for the Reds feels like a guy as well who is rounding into form as a pitcher. He was a thrower. He was a bit erratic. He's really fine-tuned things this year. 0.72 ERA over his last 4 starts. Cincinnati's won 5 of his last 6. If I'm going to trust one team with pitching, it's Cincinnati. If I'm going to trust one of these offenses, it is also Cincinnati. I went minus 120 on the Reds.
Again, the Mets have been the biggest disappointment in all Major League Baseball. It's not even close. The only pushback I would have for you, 2 things. 1, David Peterson has been much better in his last 3 or 4 outings.
Yep.
They were using an opener with him. Then they ditched the opener. He started against the Nationals. He threw 5 really effective innings. Number 2, Cincinnati now has gotten very, very public. And that's a trend. I don't know. I know we have a shirt and we have a saying about trends, but I get very, very leery, Dusty, when I am going through these betting splits and I see 70 or 75% of these tickets are coming in on one team. I'm not saying the public can't win. I'm not saying the public bet can't win, because they can. And the Mets have been as bad as can be. A little too public for my liking. And sooner or later, Mets got to win a game here, don't they?
You'd think. But look, you cover the team. I've lived this life for 41 years on this planet. You'd think these things are going to end. They usually end in a gross way for the Mets. I trust me, I'd love to be wrong about this. Them to start reeling them off. I just don't trust them to figure this out. Soto should be back in the lineup. And we should note, Soto coming into this game last 2 weeks, 356 average, 6 home runs, 11 ribbies, and 4 steals. That does change the dynamics of the lineup if they have Soto available tonight. And I'm
but
assuming
how do you
he's
pitch to him? Dusty, let's be honest about something. If you're Cincinnati tonight, or you're any team playing the Mets, if the game gets beyond the 4th inning and it's close, why are you letting Juan Soto beat you in any spot, considering the state of this lineup? I'd be putting up 4 fingers, say take first base, and enjoy the rest of your day.
It's why you got to hit him leadoff. By the way, also, I'm doubling down on a pitcher tonight. I'm going Joe Ryan over on his outs recorded at 17.5, meaning giving me 6 complete innings. And I took a plus price flyer over 6.5 at plus 138. White Sox strike out as much as anyone in baseball. Second highest K rate. He's thrown exactly 6 innings his last 3 starts, and he has really good numbers in his career against the Pale Hosers. So we'll do more baseball as we do our best bets later on in the hour. But we got to hit the ice next. And an injury update on Colorado with their season on the line.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, maybe I led you down a bad path with that first 5 on Washington on the road. Welcome back into Follow the Money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. First inning, we've already got a runner in scoring position. A little blooper that got in between the triangle out there with left, short, and third. Drops in for a hit for Jose Ramirez, 1 out, and the Guardians threatening to take an early lead with Chase DeLauder at the hill. I still stand by the bet. I still stand by chasing the plus money, but would like to see our guy Cade Cavalli work out of this jam right now, JJ.
Yeah, listen, Dusty, deep breaths. I know it's a first 5. I know there's a little bit more urgency here. Deep breaths. Let's keep it. Let's minimize damage. This sounds like my life at Syracuse University over 4 years. Minimize damage. Survive in advance. A lot more work to do.
You sound a lot like my cardiologist, by the way. Every time I go in there, he's like, all right, let's minimize some of this damage and deep breaths and slow it down, buddy. All right. With that, we got a big hockey game we got to talk about tonight, where I feel like there's all sorts of breathing techniques. There may be witchcraft going on in the Colorado locker room as their season's on the brink, something we didn't really anticipate. We'll get to that in a moment with our next guest. You know him, Nick Alberga, covers the league, the Nation Network, Leafs Morning Take, NHL Fantasy, at the Golden Muzzy. You can find him on X as always. But I want to frame the conversation as far as the nation of Canada. You know, when you come on here, you're my only Canadian friend I know, so I have to have you represent the entire country. Carolina and Montreal, and a big one in overtime for the Canes last night to take the lead. But Montreal, can you paint the picture for the audience, for John? Does the rest of the country want them to be the organization that brings the cup back north of the border?
No, guys, thanks for having me. I've been pretty consistent in saying that if my team's not winning the Stanley Cup in Canada, I want no other team to win the Stanley Cup in Canada. And, it speaks to the times. It's 2026 and things are a bit different than they were, say, 20 years ago, where we like to sing Kumbaya and go Montreal. No, I'm not for Montreal. Honestly, the bigger predicament right now in this market is the fact that Vegas, as we know, is getting set for Game 4 tonight, up 3-0 in this series against Colorado, could square off against the Montreal Canadiens. Squaring off, in a potential Stanley Cup final would just create the biggest conundrum for Maple Leafs fans. On one hand, you have the Montreal Canadiens, the hated rival. On the other, you have the Vegas Golden Knights, but most specifically Mitch Marner, who ran himself out of town last year, joined the Vegas Golden Knights, and he could potentially, in year one, leaving the Leafs, be in the Stanley Cup final. I don't know who you cheer for. I mean, if there's a nuclear option, that is the one for a potential Vegas-Montreal Stanley Cup final here.
Well, Nick, I understand these conundrums. It would be like, asking a New Yorker if you're a Yankee fan, the World Series being played, are you rooting for the Mets, the team that you have to deal with your buddies and your pals and your family rooting for if they're not a Yankee fan? Or do you root for the Red Sox or you hate a rival? So I understand these conundrums can be the absolute worst. I have a question for you. What Tortorella is doing in Vegas is absolutely absurd. And I know hockey, unlike the other sports, has a reputation of coaches getting fired late in the year and then a team going and having success. Can you think of a comp? Like Tortorella comes in, final week and a half. They're like now 5 wins away from a Stanley Cup. Is there one that comes to mind?
I think the one that was closest was like Robbie Ftorek in the 90s with the New Jersey Devils, who got hired late in the season. But yeah, the closest could be the St. Louis Blues a couple years ago, but that was like in January. They were the worst team in the league, hired Craig Berube, and then all of a sudden went on this magical run and won the Stanley Cup. But you're so right, man. Like, this has been epic. Vegas's rise to grace here, considering when they made the coaching decision, people were up in arms a bit and they're like, Torts? But then you start doing the numbers and you figured out that John Tortorella's relationship to Carter Hart, their number one goaltender, they spent time together in Philadelphia. And to me, that's been the biggest reason why Vegas is in this situation right now, 3-0 on the President's Trophy winners. It's Carter Hart. I mean, the big story for me is that under Bruce Cassidy, they signed Carter Hart and he was awful. And then all of a sudden he goes MIA for 3 months. And all of a sudden Tortorella takes over. And with like 3 weeks left, suddenly Carter Hart emerges. He's the number one goaltender, and he hasn't looked back since. Like, you sort of forget that Adin Hill was the one who won the Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights a couple years ago, has a pretty hefty contract with him, and he's firmly the backup with this team. But yeah, Torts has done an unbelievable job. They're just very, very calm, cool, and collected, that team right now.
Well, VGK with a 3-0 series lead. Market slightly pricing the Avalanche -115. Golden Knights -105 tonight. Total 6.5. But we got some injury concerns for the Avs. McKinnon left last game, came back, looked pretty limited the rest of the way. I saw he wasn't there for morning skate among some other players. The reports I'm reading, he's going to try and tough it out. But if McKinnon is limited, what are your expectations for tonight?
It's crazy. If you were to tell me, or ask me a week ago, who I'm betting on in this series, just to paint a picture in the hockey world going into this conference final, nobody gave Vegas a chance in hell. They were playing one of the best teams in recent memory. Colorado had 2 regulation losses at Christmas, to put things into context for you guys. And here we are. Makar's been dinged up for the majority of the Stanley Cup playoffs. McKinnon banged up last game, could barely finish it. And so we enter a game 4. Vegas has a chance to sweep. But then, part of me is Colorado has to win one game at some point in time. And that's why I'm likely to play the Avalanche in this game. And close to a pick 'em. I think there's value there. I mean, to your point, that would be the major concern if you're betting for Colorado. Who's to say that Makar doesn't play and then his shoulder that's dinged up, it flares up and he's like, I can't do this anymore. McKinnon's got the leg injury, of course, from last game and blocking that shot. But I just look at the championship pedigree of that Colorado team, and I understand Vegas has it as well. A lot of pride in that room, and they have seemed defeated and deflated the last couple of days, understandably so, knowing the statistics of potentially coming back from 0-3 down. So I think Colorado's going to win this game and at least give their home crowd one more game on home ice. So give me the Avs tonight.
Okay. All right, Nick, let's get to the Eastern Conference Finals. We've seen Carolina now win in overtime in back-to-back games. The series price, $5.30 for the Carolina Hurricanes. You're getting right around 4-1 for Montreal. Are we ready to write the obituary on the Canadians, or would you look glass half full and say, hey, overtime loss in game 2, overtime loss in game 3, still a lot of fight left in that team, or are they just totally outmatched here?
Put it this way, you're starting your computer up. You're booting it up. It's going to take 1 second, and then you're going to start writing that obit. I don't think it's done just yet. I think if there's one thing I've learned in these Stanley Cup playoffs, Montreal is so relentless. I would call them the Vegas Golden Knights of the Eastern Conference. Would I be shocked at all if they come out tomorrow and square this series at 2 and set up a best of 3 to decide who goes on to the Stanley Cup final? No, but I think you look at Carolina, the body of work. I am a firm believer in knocking on that door several times before you push open that door and push through. And it just feels like it's Carolina's time to at least go to the Stanley Cup final. On top of that, I don't think game one was indicative of what Carolina has been throughout these Stanley Cup playoffs. We talked about the rest versus rust factor, and that's why Montreal had all the momentum from their previous series going 7. And to me, they look like a fatigued team, and I don't think it's a great matchup right now. I think ultimately it comes down to goaltending. If Freddie Anderson can make some timely saves, I think Carolina is going to win this series. It's certainly come down to execution, too. You look at the last couple games, Carolina, as you mentioned, winning an OT. So I'm actually going to play Carolina here in game 4. I've been wrestling with this all day just because I really respect what Montreal's put together. Not that I'm going to root for them or anything, but I think Carolina is battle tested. You look at their numbers, not only in overtime, but bouncing back. I mean, they're 10-1 in 11 games throughout here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I'm going to play the Canes here in game 4. If you want to spice it up a bit, maybe you take them in regulation because they haven't done that just yet. They've won back-to-back games in OT.
Nick, before we let you go here, just projecting for a cup final, let's assume VGK is there. What's the better matchup on the other side? You think it's Carolina or Montreal?
Ooh, I think it's got to be Montreal. And that's been the story, right? Is everybody's disrespecting the Montreal Canadiens. I think it would be a difficult matchup, whoever Vegas plays, assuming Colorado's cooked here. I just think the way Carolina is playing right now with the puck possession, they're a pretty heavy team. They've been there before. I think that would be a very intriguing series on paper if it was Carolina and Vegas. But again, do not count out the Montreal Canadiens. I think there's a lot of fight remaining in that team here in the Eastern Conference Final. But I think if you're Vegas and you had to pick, you probably want to play Montreal and not Carolina here.
He's Nick Alberga. Check him out on X at The Golden Muzzy. Also check him out, Leafs Morning Take, The Nation Network, and NHL Fantasy. Appreciate the time as always, my friend. I'm sure we'll chat very soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Awesome stuff from Nick Alberga there. Awesome stuff, by the way, from the Washington Nationals. Second inning, 2 on, nobody out. Nunez, the 8-hitter, is up. If we can plate a couple runs here, I'll feel a lot better about that first 5.
Patience, baby. What I tell you.
You got to ride the roller coaster with me, though. That's what it is. There's no medium. I don't do moderation in any form of
I was going to say,
life.
Dusty, when you watch football on Sundays and a team goes down the field and scores on the opening possession, are you one of these guys that buries the bet already?
No, this is why they put me on during the game, so that the world has to listen to me either be hyped up because I'm doing well or absolutely decimated because I'm not. Like, it's one or the other. I don't do medium. Everything in my life, I'm either eating a lot or I'm dieting super hard, although it's been a minute since I've done that. I'm either watching a ton of movies or I'm watching zero. It's like there's nothing in the middle. We just got a pass ball, 2 runners in scoring position. Let's get them home, Nats. Speaking of that, more bets on the way. We'll do In Pocket. Coming up next on Follow the Money.
I've been looking into Prolon, and what really stood out to me is that it's designed to give you the benefits of fasting without actually having to stop eating completely. It's a plant-based 5-day program with everything pre-packaged for you. Soups, snacks, drinks, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state so it can activate things like cellular repair and renewal. It's actually backed by years of research and developed alongside one of the leading longevity institutes, which makes me feel really comfortable in trying it. Prolon is offering FieldSwell listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just go to prolonlife.com/FieldSwell. Again, that's prolonlife.com/FieldSwell to get your discount and bonus gift today.
Keep your wellness routine going strong all summer. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just 1 packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition wherever you are. With 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and more. Simplify your daily ritual. Go to Kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
The guy has has an algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, a bit of a mixed bag yesterday, but mostly in the positive as far as In Pocket's concerned. So a couple losers in the NBA. They weren't even close. There's nothing like a prop angle you feel is good. They didn't have a prayer. Allen over points and rebounds, dead. Dean Wade over PRA, dead. What we did hit somehow, Trey Savage over 5.5 Ks right before he got blown up last night. Will Warren got home over 16.5 total outs. We cashed in-game live on the show yesterday the Orioles money line at a plus price. Yankees Royals under got home. Unfortunately, Mets Reds under did not. And we hit before the show started at vsin.com/picks. Cardinals Brewers first 5 under 3.5. That baby was plus 118. It was a sweat till the end, but it wound up cashing. So that's what we had for last night. Here's what we got tonight cooking, and we may be adding some more throughout the show. We are looking at Thunder minus 4.5 versus the Spurs. Hartenstein, Luke, I got to change the juice on that. You're doing me dirty with the minus 150 juice. That is not what's on the website. Cam Schlittler over 5.5 Ks. We got much better juice over at vsin.com/picks last night. The Pirates minus $1.30. I'm also backing Joe Ryan and the Twinkies, taking on a White Sox offense that, look, they put up numbers. There's a lot of production. I don't know about contact. I feel like they're missing way too many bats right now, or they're swinging and missing too many pitches right now. I think Ryan over 17.5 total outs, over 6.5 Ks, both playable. So I'm going to hopefully, at worst, split them, but I do think both likely get home tonight. Braves Reds were on the under 8 because it's Strider and Suarez. Suarez, great numbers last year against the Braves. Strider looks like he's finding his form. I don't anticipate a lot of runs, and I'm fading my Metsies at minus 120 against the Cincinnati Reds and Chase Burns. Also, we added in show Alex Caruso over 8.5 points.
I see. Look at that.
Minus 129. And the Nationals first 5 plus 108 against the Guardians. We went in show right now, second inning. James Wood with his 15th homer of the year. It is 4-0 DC on the road. Those are my plays. JJ, take it away.
By the way, I hope if you're getting Nationals Guardians added to the mix, I hope
yes,
you
you're
can
in
get
on
Nationals
it too.
Guardians added to the mix. Listen, follow the money. Day one, we're batting 1,000. So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's nowhere to go but down, literally. That's just the way it goes. But
ride the wave.
Hey, the Knicks treated us brilliantly. The Knicks have put a lot of extra loot in my pocket over the last few weeks because they've been a cover machine. And I'm just very satisfied, Dusty, that what I told the audience yesterday really came home to roost as far as those alternate spreads. I said, hey, Knicks going to win this game. You don't got to worry about 1.5 points. They're going to win by double digits. I just wish we laddered the alternate spreads up to like 25.5. We really could have made a killing. But we'll take our plus 200 at minus 8.5. The Mariners were good to us, and the Arizona Diamondbacks with Mr. Kelly were good to us against San Francisco. So what do we have in store for an encore? Well, NBA, we are riding together, amigo. Oklahoma City laying 4.5 against San Antonio. The scary thing about this game, though, Dusty, is now we're seeing some 3.5s in the market, for goodness sakes. I do think that is a little bit of an overreaction to the Thunder injuries. You're going to get better play out of the role, guys. I think it is a legacy virtuoso type of game for SGA. He's got to go for 30-plus points. He's got to have a monster game. I think you're going to get it. Let's take OKC to take care of business. Now, you like the under in Red Sox Phillies. I think that's a wise play. I'm taking the Boston Red Sox on a money line against the Atlanta Braves. I said the Phillies, by the way, you noticed that was a little bit of a Freudian slip. One, because you're going to see the Phillies in a little bit. Two, Ranger Suarez used to pitch for the Philadelphia Phillies and has unbelievable numbers against the Atlanta Braves dating back to last year. I don't trust Spencer Strider. I don't think he's the same pitcher he was a couple of years ago. And Braves due to cool off and lose a couple of games. Red Sox due to win a couple of games at home. And the line tells you something. The Braves are a zillion games over 500. The Red Sox are well under 500. yet I'm getting even money. I'll take Boston, which pains me to say as a native New Yorker, but I do like the Red Sox tonight. And shows you. We keep it fair and balanced around here, Dusty, do we not?
Hey, it's the only way to be. Only way to be. And you like the Phillies against the Padres tonight?
I do. Good spot. I know Nola's been terrible, but the Phillies are swinging the bats better, gaining some confidence. Vasquez is pitching to a sub-3 ERA. Is not a sub-3 ERA type of pitcher. I think the Phillies get to him tonight. They've been a better team and a different team with Don Mattingly as the manager. And then last but not least, James Wood. The Wood Doctor, baby. Let's go. Nationals first 5 plus money against Cleveland.
Lay in the wood with James Wood. Sports calendar never stops. The sharp plays, they cover it all. They've been winning for 15 straight years. All of it documented. Logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com. That kind of transparency is rare in the industry. When the sharp plays moves, the sportsbooks take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com today. Critical game 5 on the wood in Oklahoma City. JJ, the number has indeed moved. Flashing on the screen, Thunder down to 3.5-point favorites. Wow, at FanDuel. Every other shop, for the most part, I'm seeing Westgate, Caesars, South Point are at 4. Most other shops 4.5, but we're looking at minus 3.5 on the Thunder. I don't get it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And to be fair, just because the market's moving that way doesn't mean it's the right side. Pretty sure Cleveland got steamed up almost every game in that series, and that didn't work out well for bettors there. Right now, though, if you want to bet Oklahoma City, you can get a great minus 3.5.
It's a great point. Cleveland's team didn't go particularly well for bettors. Hopefully, we have the same results with our Oklahoma City wagers. Here's my question to you. This is the best price the Thunder have been to win the championship in quite a while.
I know.
Quite a while. Like, they have been sitting in that, like, minus 160, minus 165 range, maybe climbed even a little higher after a couple of those easy sweeps. Is now the time for somebody like me who has the Knicks at 15-1 to win the title?
I've been thinking the same thing.
Do we hop on? And listen, you know where my emotions lie. I think logically, if Oklahoma City played the Knicks, I would pick Oklahoma City to win the series. I almost feel like I have to grab this plus 110 or 115 right now.
I think we have to, just because, one, if they win tonight, they're at home, they're laying a price. Whether they cover tonight is completely irrelevant for our future, right? We need to get the best number possible on the Thunder. The last time they were plus 110 outside of in the playoffs, I don't know when in the regular season. I mean, they were super short most of the year. I think now we have to do it because we're going to regret waking up tomorrow if they win this game and they're minus 180. At that point, you're like, look, I could have gotten such a good spot on my number. I think I'm looking at it this way. I'm probably going to hedge for a little bit more than my ticket is on the Knicks.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
And then if it's indeed the Thunder and I'm having to lay a big price, I'll add to it later to try and even some things out because I will be coming off my 15-1. As much as I love the Knicks and the role they're on, the Thunder scare me. If it's the Spurs, I'm probably letting the series play out a game or two.
Ride.
Yeah, I'm letting the series play out.
I'm going to let it play out for a couple of games. 1,000%.
I'm only doing this on the Thunder. They're the one that I fear more, which mark the tape, come back and find it later. I might look like an idiot, but yeah, I'm with you. I think we got to take a plus 110 tonight before the game starts.
And the only thing that would make this look foolish is a San Antonio outright win
100%.
In game number 5.
100%. And Keldon Johnson, one of their key contributors, your 6th man of the year, he said this about tonight's game.
Yeah, this is the biggest game of the season right here tonight. This game is important. It's 2-2. You know, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be tough. But I feel like we built for the moment and we built for these times. And I feel like we'll show that tonight.
Hey, one, he's not lying. But at this point in the conference finals, every game is indeed the biggest game of the season here. But big picture, that is a team that I don't think is intimidated from the moment. If I had one fear about our Oklahoma City bet tonight, it's not talent. It's that the Spurs believe. And they want to dispel all the myths that they're too young, they're too dumb, they haven't been through it enough. That is my concern for San Antonio, but that's more of a big picture series thing. I think tonight it's all about the Thunder.
So I think that's fair. And Dusty, let me make this abundantly clear. San Antonio wants to win this series. This is a game they have to have.
100%.
Oklahoma City could go to San Antonio, win a game 6, and win game 7 at home. I do not see San Antonio winning a game 7 on the road. I know some road teams have had some success. Cleveland just did it in the last round against Detroit. I know there's a pathway to it. Just don't think this young team is up for it. They got to win tonight.
100%. He's John Jastremski. I'm Dustin Swedelson. We'll be back for Wednesday's edition of Follow the Money as well, but don't go anywhere. VSiN's got you covered in game all night long. VSiN Primetime, Tim Murray, Matt Humans. They'll guide you through Game 4 on the ice, Game 5 in the NBA. Wake up every weekday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time with VSiN by the Books, Jensen Lewis, Dave Ross. They then hand it off to a numbers game with Gil Alexander and Kelly Bidlin. We'll see you next time. Good luck with all the bets. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Heading into spring and summer is a real reset season for me and for many of us who want to look and feel our best. Prolon's 5-day program is one of my favorite ways to do it, designed to support your body at a deeper level while still being simple to follow. If you're ready for a reset, this is a great place to start. Visit prolonlife.com/fieldswell for 15% off and a $40 bonus. That's Prolon, PROLON, life, LIFE.com/fieldswell.